All right, Monday morning, let's go. I'm excited. Got a big day out in front of me, which is good. It's looking like that very soon we could get the wheels moving again as far as getting out and about, if not all of us, some of us. The question that I wanted to pose to you today is, will you be ready for your opportunity? Whenever the nation reopens, or the states, whatever the case may be, to what degree that is even, I don't know. Is it just going to be more people now considered essential so that we can get more movement? I don't know. I'm not really trying to get into that. I think that's really a distraction. The question becomes, when the dust settles on this this COVID virus, COVID-19, whatever situation, will you be ready to take full hold and full grasp of your opportunity? Will you be ready to take the chance or to grab the chance or the option available to you that could alter your life financially for the better, and really for your kids, creating financial legacy and really financial security? Will you be ready for it? Because again, it's a mental thing. And this goes back to what I said about, when I was talking about, using your credit card to pay your monthly expenses. Yes, bills and expenses, they're the exact same thing. Your light expense, your light bill, it's the exact same thing. You're just giving it a different name, but in the midst of having that different name or that different title, it does cause one to think differently about it. Whether we want to or not, whether we agree with that or not, it's a fact. Just speaking about things in a different manner, even slightly different, can cause one's thoughts towards those actions, those expenses, those bills, those situations to be different. And we get to choose whether we're going to think and operate at a higher level, or stay mid-tier, or even operate at a lower level. Will you be ready for your opportunity when it opens back up? And furthermore, are you setting the stage for when the dust settles, for you to be positioned to not only accept and take your opportunity, but also to hit the ground running, to really gain a lot of momentum and move forward? These are the questions that we really need to be asking ourselves, in my opinion, as someone who tries to think like an entrepreneur and live as an entrepreneur. These are the questions that we need to ask ourselves. Now, again, I want to be clear. I'm a big believer in doing your own thing. I'm free. I make my own schedule. I make the money that I want to make. I do what I want to do when I want to do it. It's pretty fantastic. It's physical. The price that I pay to do that is I have to do some physically grueling work, but I'd rather pay that price any day than pay the price of being in captivity and living in total comfort. That's me. If that's not you, that's fine. You have to work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. But thinking, whether you're on the job or you want to start your own business, whatever the case may be, thinking in the manner of, how can I maximize my opportunity? How can I maximize my revenue generating power? Because again, regardless of what economic structure we're in, whether it's capitalism or socialism, communism, or a true libertarianism where there's no regulation whatsoever, it's just a free-for-all, whatever the case may be, a democracy/republic, it doesn't matter. Whatever the case may be, a monarchy, all of those systems require that people use and live within the confines of some type of monetization, whether that's using currency, gold, coins, to acquire the items that you and your family needs, or we have a barter trade system where it's somewhat money, but really it's more trading goods and services. Regardless of that, regardless of the system we're in, we are required to be the best that we can be, and or just think the best that we can to the degree we can, to acquire for us the greatest amount of goods and services that we can, to again insulate our families and create wealth for ourselves. Wealth being not a monolith. Again, I've said this before, you can live in a 3-bedroom ranch, 2 full bath on an acre property, have your car paid for, have the house paid for, and you're wealthy. You know, be building retirement, building lifelong income. You're wealthy at that point. You know, obviously there are levels of wealth that are obvious. You know, LeBron James is obviously wealthy. You know, Beyonce's obviously wealthy. Joe Rogan, Dave Chappelle. You know, these people are obviously wealthy. They can do pretty much whatever they want to financially. There's an obvious level of wealth that's so high that everyone can say, yeah, that's rich. But again, it isn't a monolith. It isn't this, I'm a millionaire, so I'm rich. You can be very wealthy and own everything and have lifelong income for when you're retired. You're wealthy. You're doing great. So the point to that is, whatever system we're in, it's going to require that we do the best we can and think the best we can concerning the monetization of ourself and or the ability to acquire goods and services for ourselves and our families. You have to be ready for that moment. Guys, this COVID-19 thing has done a wonderful service to the American people in that we actually have an organic economic downturn. Our politicians, both Republican and Democrat, have propped up the last two bubbles with our tax dollars in the form of quantitative easing, which I did a video on that. It's just printing money. It's a joke, okay? Even now, although that I agree the nation needed to do something with people who couldn't work because of the disease, et cetera, because that was the choice that our nation made and our states made. Our government needed to do something financially for its people, but in the long run, it's not a good decision. The more you print of your currency, the lower in value it becomes, and then it becomes much more difficult to acquire anything. This is just the way it is. But back to the subject at hand. Regardless of what system we're in, it requires that you and I do the best we can to be as successful as we can to create the greatest amount of wealth for ourselves and our families. Whether we're employed with somebody or we do our own thing like I do, we have our own business, or we're going to have multiple businesses. It's irrelevant. Whatever you're in, you need to make sure that you are ready and positioned to have the greatest amount of success when we come back, when we finally do as a nation open our doors, whenever that may be, to the degree that it may be, as far as, you know, next they open up bars and then restaurants. I don't know. However they're going to figure that out, you need to be poised and ready to strike when that iron's hot, because the truth is, because COVID gave us an actual economic downturn where the stock market has plummeted in an organic fashion, which we've needed it for that to happen for a while. I get fired up about that, so it's easy for me to get off track. But the fact of the matter is, when it comes back, it's going to come back strong. Some people think it's just going to be a sharp, uphill, steep, skyrocket-like effect, just blasting off into the atmosphere. Other people who are a little more conservative say it is going to be a strong uptick, but it's going to be gradual over the next 5 years. Either way, guys, it's only going up. It's only going up unless something else happens that's catastrophic or could be catastrophic that can cause problems for our economy. It's only going to go up. Are you positioned to get the greatest value out of the uptick or the upturn that you possibly can? Is your 401k, are you transitioning your 401k to be as aggressive as it possibly can be once we are out of this terrible, terrible situation and terrible, terrible reality? Are you positioning yourself, if you're a business owner, as with marketing and with strategies, possibly you're bringing someone on? One of my mentors told me the other day, and it was one of the most powerful things that I've heard in a while. He told me, he said, Zach, you know, it's actually a great motivator when you decide to hire somebody, because then you actually become the guy who has to hustle again, because now you got to go get the contracts to make sure that employee can keep getting paid. That's a powerful thought. Are you positioning yourself to take the greatest advantage of the comeback that is coming back? It starts up here. It starts right up here. Let's think like an entrepreneur. Even if you're not an entrepreneur, that's fine. Think like one. Hey, what can I do? How can I maximize my earning potential? Do I need to up my percentage of my 401k? I think every year or every 2 years or whatever, they allow for people to increase their, or or rather the max contributions increase in IRAs and Roth IRAs. I'm not entirely sure what that max is. I know at one time it was $500. That was years ago. But could still be the same thing. I don't think it is. The point is, are we going to come back from this terrible, terrible situation poised for greatness to whatever degree we can achieve it, or are we going to come back and try to do business as usual? Because the truth is, guys, this has been a great opportunity for us as Main Street. I'm kind of getting the weeds here now, so I apologize. This has been a great opportunity for us as Main Street to really ascertain and see how valuable our purchasing power is, as well as how valuable our revenue is, because all the trillions of dollars they've pumped into the economy, and the 1.2 or 1.5 trillion they gave to banks and corporations, and on top of the trillions of dollars or whatever it was for the money that they gave to myself, my wife and I received it, et cetera, and others like me and you. Although it is funny money, although it is really fraudulent because it's them just printing money, the truth is it's all based on the very real Main Street tax dollars. Guys, we have them on the ropes. We really do. We could alter the course of the world economy if we just wake up and think like an entrepreneur and use our dollars more effectively. Again, I'm getting into the weeds, I apologize. If you don't like a company, don't spend money with them. We don't go to Walmart. We don't. I won't do it. Wife had a bad experience there. I purchased years ago a product, salad that was sealed up entirely, opened it up, hairball in the middle of it. Absolutely disgusting. There's story after story of Walmart's putting discount stickers over the expiration date of packages of meat. Why would anyone shop there? Yeah, I understand it's cheap. Yeah, I understand it's convenient. They're a terrible company, okay? They're awful. They're atrocious. Aldi, fantastic company, pays their workers, I think, starting at $12 or $13 an hour. All their prices are even more competitive than Walmart in a lot of ways, and their options are better. Don't go to Walmart. That's just me. That's just me and Val. That's what we do. We don't go. She goes to Target. We go to Sam's, which Sam's and Walmart are owned by the same people, but Sam's is vastly different. The point is this. We are positioned to come back, and we could radically alter the world economy for the better by using our dollars differently and understanding the true value of our dollars, even our future dollars. So that's basically what they're doing. They're borrowing against future tax revenue and or our Social Security to keep pumping money back into the system. Even if they're not doing it, that's ultimately, even if they aren't pitching it that way, that's ultimately how they're going to pay for it. They're always going to use our tax dollars. They're always going to use our Social Security. And why is that? It's because Main Street's dollars are far more valuable than the top 1%. The top 1%, even though they have the vast majority of the wealth in America, they can only buy so much. They can only generate so much economic momentum from their purchasing power. It's nowhere near as much as the rest of us. Guys, are we ready when we come back from this catastrophe, or this possible catastrophe? They said it was going to be a lot worse. Last time I checked, in America, we hadn't even hit 50,000 deaths yet from the coronavirus. So it's not even as bad as early projections said, which is great. Those 50,000 people that died, still tragic, but it's nowhere near as bad as all these major media outlets were trying to say. So thank God for that. But when we come back from this catastrophe, are we going to be positioned within ourselves mentally and in our hearts to be set up to get the greatest level of success possible out of whatever we're doing, whether it's pressure washing and cleaning gutters, or hauling, handyman work, or maybe you're, someone who works at a marketing department with your company, or maybe you're in sales, or maybe you're in IT, whatever the case may be, whatever's going on. Are you going to position yourself to be as successful as possible and get the greatest uptick of revenue that you can? That's the question. I think it was a great, for the life of me now, I can't think of his name, but a very well-established stock guy, investment specialist said he gets really scared. He said this: I get really scared when everyone's really brave, and I get really brave when everyone's terrified. Right now, everyone is terrified. Right now is the time. Warren Buffett, I believe, is the man who said that. I believe. I'm not sure. Right now is the time for us to get brave as Main Street. Even though our politicians are pumping money, Democrat, Republican, Trump, whatever, even though they're pumping money into the upper 1%, right now is the time for Main Street to get brave. Right now, in our hearts and in our minds, we can take the land. But we have to make sure that we're positioned and we're ready to move forward when this comes back to get the greatest uptick possible, guys. Because it's coming, and it's for us. We can get it today. We can alter the destiny of the world economy and our own starting today with the better mindset and a better realization of how we feel about ourselves and our heart. I know that sounds a little hokey, but it's true. We can do it. Let's do it together.